Growing peppers in cold climates can be hard. By the time your plants finally start growing and producing, frost already seems to be on the horizon and all you're left with is a bunch of small green peppers. But it is possible to grow peppers, and not just one or two, but bowls full of them. And it turns out that the length of our growing season doesn't actually matter if you follow the tips that I'm going to take you through in today's video. And if you follow all of these tips that I'm going to share with you today, I can promise you that you are going to get a guaranteed pepper harvest that surprises even you. If you're new here, my name is Bree from Urban Gardening Canada, and I garden in Ottawa Zone 5. We have a shorter season here, which means that growing peppers can be a little tricky, and that's why these tips that I'm going to share with you are going to be exactly what you need if you've ever been struggling with growing peppers. So last year I made a video on how to grow massive pepper plants, and I took you through some tips in there, and I'm not going to cover all of the same tips in this video as I did in that one. So you're definitely going to want to check that video out after this one. Now, we all know that peppers require sunshine and a lot of it, water and some good quality soil. So I'm not going to take you through those today because these are just a given. But I have 4 tips for you today that is going to ensure that you actually get a pepper harvest before your first frost comes, which is always the biggest struggle. So the first tip is to choose the right variety. Here's the thing, especially here in Canada, peppers are difficult to grow and we can't get a lot of the really huge bell peppers that you buy from the grocery store because a lot of those are actually grown in greenhouses. And unfortunately, most of us backyard gardeners don't have the luxury of a greenhouse where we can grow for an extended period of time, especially a heated greenhouse. We just don't have that. So for us, it's about choosing the right varieties that can grow in the time span that we have. You might get recommendations from people on what varieties work best for them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be best for you. If you have more shade in the afternoon or you live near a body of water that makes the temperatures in your backyard a lot cooler, it means that you're going to have to find varieties that work very specifically for your growing space. I spend a lot of time trying different varieties around in my garden so that way I can get the exact complement of pepper varieties that work for me, and it's the same for you. So it's really about a lot of experimentation in order to get it right. So I know at first this doesn't feel like that good of a tip for me to say, oh, experiment with peppers. You might think like, obviously, but also maybe not at the same time. For example, there is King of the North bell peppers, where in the name of it, it says it's really good for Canada. And for some people, King of the North grows really well. For me, it doesn't really grow that well. So even though it says it could be good for northern gardens or for Canada, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you. So it's really about trying to find what works best for you. And of course, I don't know exactly where you're watching this from or what zone you're growing from. So I can't provide a tip that is super unique to you right now in this video. But what I can say is to start with smaller pepper varieties. So for example, hot peppers will grow a lot faster and they will ripen faster because their fruit is quite small. So it means that you're going to get enough time to grow the plant, grow the fruit, and get it to ripen. Another really good one is shishitos. If you've never grown these before, they are a small, mild pepper, although it is a bit of a Russian roulette with them because every so often you do get one spicy one, but they are a mild pepper, and because they're meant to stay small, you can get bowls full of shishitos in a season, and you'll still even have some that ripen to their red, and you can save seeds from them for next year. So for me, shishitos are a must-have in my garden because I can guarantee a mild pepper harvest. Another good one are jalapenos, and you can even get a variety called nadapenos, which is a non-heated jalapeno. So this is one that always performs really well in my garden here in Ottawa because again, the fruit is really small. So there's enough time for the plant to produce a lot of fruit and to ripen it. Specifically for me, the lemon jalapenos have been the best at being able to ripen into their specific color before the end of the season. So as you can see, it takes a lot of work to figure out exactly which variety varieties you can grow, which ones within it, whether it's basic jalapenos or lemon jalapenos, some work better. So it's all really about experimentation. So every year what I try and do is I try and buy a new variety so that way I can experiment with it. So for example, this year I'm trying a pepper called Carmen, and it is a conical shaped pepper that grows to about 6 inches. And I find the peppers that grow to a conical shape, because there's less fruit to them, they grow faster. So I should be able to have better time to be able to grow it and let it ripen. But I haven't tried it, so this will be my first year growing it. So I will keep you guys updated on if this is a good variety, because it's not growing to that huge round bell pepper shape, but rather a cone. It should be able to ripen a little bit faster, but time will tell. My main point with this is that it's very important to try and experiment. If you can get access to new seed varieties, whether it's through the library or a seed swap, or if you want to buy them, just give yourself a chance to try a bunch of different pepper varieties and start saving the ones that work best for you in your garden. And it doesn't have to be the same as everybody else around you. All right, so this brings me to my second tip, and this is if you grow from seed, start your peppers now. This video is your sign to get your peppers in the ground. Take the weekend and get your soil set up and start planting those pepper seeds. I have a friend that lives in zone 5 around me here, and he is an actual pepper farmer. He grows hot peppers and he starts his seeds in January. So really anytime January to February is a great time to be planting your seeds. I planted my seeds just a few days ago, but the earlier you plant your seeds, the bigger the plant is when it comes time to plant it out in the springtime. And this means that there is more time for you to be able to get a good healthy plant that can start putting out fruit. It may seem early. I used to plant my pepper seeds in March when I first started gardening years ago, and I never quite could get good pepper plants. They only grew like to 8 inches tall, and they really didn't put out any peppers. But with a plant that small, how can it possibly support fruit? So the goal is to get your plant as large as possible, so when it does come planting out time, they are in the best shape to be able to grow. And now my pepper plants grow 2 to 3 feet tall, and they're over 2 feet wide. They're huge. And so it is possible to get that here in Canada without even growing in a greenhouse. So before I get into the third tip, I do want to mention that I have a square foot planner. It's available on my website and it is free for you to grab, and you can use it to build a 4x8 garden. You just use the drop down menu and you pick out all of the plants that you want to be growing this year, and it's going to tell you how many plants can fit in that square foot. And then on top of it, it creates a list on the side of it. So that way, as you're planting out that garden, it tells you how many plants you need. So this either organizes how many plants that you need to buy to fill your garden, or how many seeds that you need to start in order to fill your garden. So this is just a fun tool that you can play around with until it becomes actual gardening season. So if you wanted to grab it, I will leave a link for it in the description below. All right, let's get into tip number 3. Okay, so this tip is really important. And this one is whether you start your peppers from seed or you buy them from a greenhouse, and that is to not let your plants flower early. So there's a bit of a balancing act here where you want to make sure that you're pinching off flowers, but also you don't want to get too into the mood of pinching off flowers that you're pinching them way too late in the season, and then it's going to cause problems. But with plants, what you need to have is you want them to focus on growing the roots under the soil and building a really strong root system, and then building a really good stem and branching. But if you allow your plant to go to flower, it means that it's going to start fruiting. And this is a plant's way of saying, hey, I think I'm at the end of my life cycle. I'm going to produce a fruit because there's seeds in there, and that's how I can get offspring to continue pushing my genetics forward. So this happens when you're growing inside because your pot is only so big, so the roots fill out the whole pot, and then they say, well, we have nowhere left to go. I guess it's time to fruit. And it's the same when you're buying peppers from a greenhouse. They are often root bound, and so they also are in a pot that's too small for them. So it's very common to see pepper plants at a greenhouse that have flowers or fruit growing on them. And I'm not talking about the pepper plants that come in like a huge 30 centimeter pot that are large. I'm talking about like seedlings that come in about a 4-inch pot. So when you do go to plant your peppers out, if you have any flowers on them inside, pinch those flowers off. And then when you do go to plant your peppers out, and if there's any flowers that are buds or actual flowers that are coming out, pinch those ones off too. And you're going to want to do it for the first 2 weeks of having them planted out, and then don't do it after that. So anywhere from the 1 to 2 week mark, it's really up to you as you're watching your plant grow. But again, when you plant them out in whether it's May or June for you, depending on where you grow, you really want them to focus on that root development, because a good root system means that they're going to build a really good plant for you. And if there's any fruit on your plant, it's going to hurt, but take those off too, because if you have a plant that's only this big, how can it possibly support a fruit that's equal size to it? If it even can manage to grow that full fruit, you're going to get a single pepper off that plant and nothing else for the rest of the season. And that is not the goal. The goal is to have your plant be nice and large, full of branches, and then it's going to produce a lot of fruit all over the plant. So that way you're going to get an actual bowl's worth of peppers per plant if it's done right. Now, it's easy to kind of get caught up in pinching off flowers for too long. I've been there before, where I've been pinching off flowers to make sure my plant gets big enough, to the point where I was concerned that I actually was pinching for too long into the summer, that I wasn't going to get any fruit. So it really is a balancing act, that I would cut it off within the first, don't go past the 2 week mark of pinching off flowers, because at that point, the plant has now been outside, it's been in an actual garden soil, it's growing, and you really want to give it that opportunity to take care of itself, and it knows what it's doing. And from there, you're really going to allow it to decide whether it's growing roots, branches, or its own flowers. Okay, so my final tip is to fertilize your plants. But you have to really understand fertilizer when you are doing this. There are synthetic fertilizers that are sold on the market that are often targeted to beginner gardeners that just don't have the right balance. So when you are planning to fertilize your peppers, look for a balanced fertilizer. So this is something where the NPK, or the 3 numbers on the front of it, are very similar. So they're 333, 321, 312, whatever it is. You're looking for something that is a lot more balanced, because you don't want to throw your plant out of whack when you're watering, and you also really don't want to throw your soil off either. Nitrogen is responsible for growing your greenery up above. So in the springtime, you do want to have a fertilizer that is slightly higher in nitrogen to help really boost that greenery and all of that growth. And phosphorus is really important for root growth. So you are looking for a fertilizer that gives you that nitrogen and phosphorus, so it helps promote root growth, the stem growth, and gives you a really healthy plant. And then by midsummer, you do want to switch over your fertilizer to something that is higher in both phosphorus and potassium, because those two are responsible for fruit growth. So starting off in the spring, a little bit more nitrogen, and then switching that nitrogen over to the potassium side means that you're going to build a really strong plant in the springtime, and then tell the plant that you have everything you need to start growing and producing fruit. And by following this type of schedule, you are going to be able to capitalize on more fruit coming off of these plants and helping give it the nutrients that it needs to be able to give you these bowls full of peppers. I honestly would say, look for an organic fertilizer. Don't choose synthetic fertilizers. Don't choose the ones that have an NPK that's 15-2-2, because that's just bananas. It's not good for your plant. It just bursts a bunch of new growth onto your plants that is susceptible to aphids and other pests, which is going to cause you more problems down the line. So again, really choose that balanced fertilizer, and better yet, create your own fertilizer. This is what I like to do. So I don't buy any type of commercial fertilizers. I just create my own. So you can actually use weeds in the springtime if you wanted to make a fertilizer out of dandelions. When you pick dandelions out of your yard, if this is something that you do, and you get that whole taproot, that taproot is going to have pulled up a bunch of nutrition from the soil because of how deep it goes. So all you have to do is stick these weeds into a bucket of water and let them rot, and it's going to turn into an amazing fertilizer that is full of nitrogen. So it's really good for that springtime fertilizer. The goal, if you do decide to do this, is first off, it's going to smell really bad the longer it rots, but you do want to make sure that this fertilizer stays at a green tea color, so it's not too dark. If it gets any darker, dilute it with regular water. And then at midsummer, if you're growing any comfrey is a really great one that has that higher potassium and phosphorus that really helps with promoting that flowering. So if this is something that you include in your garden, then you're going to create a comfrey tea and fertilize your peppers with that. So you can use weeds or you can use grass cuttings. These are two good ones for creating your type of fertilizer. You can buy alfalfa and make an alfalfa fertilizer, or again, having the comfrey. But all of these are really good ways that you can make fertilizer at home for your peppers to make sure you get a guaranteed harvest. And they're really not that hard to make, and they don't require a lot of knowledge. It's just something super simple that any backyard gardener can do. So that is all of my tips. I hope you found this to be really helpful and that you do get a successful pepper harvest this season. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I really recommend checking out my other pepper video because it's going to give you additional tips that is going to make growing peppers easier, especially if you're like me and you grow in Canada or any other cold climate. These tips are really going to help boost that production for you. So I'm going to leave that video right here for you to check out. Bye.